This first set is dead even.
Unbelievable combination.
Wow.
Beautifully done.
What a great spot.
Hello, and welcome to the 2025-26 APTA Tour. We're live from the Hyde Park Golf and Country Club in Cincinnati, Ohio, bringing you the 2026 Midwesterns Grand Prix, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsor, Corient. Tournament support has also been provided by the following. Our presenting sponsor, Duncan, Greater Cincinnati Platform Tennis Association. Local sponsors, Mercy Health, Roto-Rooter, Alta Fiber, Quintus Wealth Management Group, We Connect Health, Viking Athletics, High Grain Brewing, Total Platform, Plains Moving and Storage, True Point Wealth Council, River Hills Bank, Marymount Capital, Town Properties, Atlantic Sign Company, Stretch Lab, and Titan Trophies. I'm Denise Murphy, along with Steve Sullivan, bringing you this women's quarterfinal match between our number 2 seed, Macy Elliott and Lisa Lalic, and our number 8 seed, Michelle Ncube and Cammie Townsend. Steve, welcome to the booth.
I'm excited. Last Grand Prix of the year, the 5th Grand Prix this year, Denise. I mean, it looks balmy in Cincinnati compared to what we dealt with just a short bit ago in Short Hills. So, yeah, super excited. This is a quarterfinal match. It's best 2 out of 3 sets, regular scoring. And, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this sort of bounce back, you know, from the Lalic, Elliott, number 2 seeds. Looks like there was a little bit of a health issue with those two in Short Hills. But I'm excited about this quarterfinal matchup.
Absolutely. There's a lot of talent out here, and it's good to see. I mean, I personally have not called a match between these two teams this season, so that's always exciting to see how they match up. I see how they match up against other teams, so excited to call the match with you. Our chair ump for this match is Steve Watts. So, Steve, thanks so much for your time and being here, and all the umpires. Couldn't do it without you. Wanted to introduce the players real quick. Serving on the forecourt is Macy Elliott right in front of us. On our right, you can't really see her. There, just a quick, there she is Lisa, her partner, Lisa Lalic. On the far court, in the ad side, on the right side, is Michelle Ncube, and her partner, Cammie Townsend, is on the left. So, Steve, what do you think we're going to see here today?
Yeah, I'm partial and curious to see how the lefty performs. We've seen, you know, this new team sort of coming up a little bit this season, and Gussie O'Sullivan and Mila Saric. Michelle Ncube, another lefty. I think Saric and Ncube have an interesting dynamic to create problems, right? Different spins, different approaches. You know, you mentioned at the onset, Denise, there's a lot of skills on this court. I think both Ncube and Townsend are going to be looking to hit the ball, right, to play points, to sort of look for big backhands and look for shots. So I'm a little curious. I also haven't called a ton of Ncube and Townsend to see how her lefty, you know, that lefty overhead can be an advantage and sort of look to attack the deuce court, which is typically where Macy Elliott's going to sit. And unfortunately, it's Macy Elliott, right? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, a lot of times, just that little lefty factor, if you don't stay focused and, like, meaning the different spin that comes off a lefty paddle, right? Or perhaps the different targets that they're able to easily hit on their overheads as opposed to a righty. There's not a ton of lefties on the tour, so it is something, it is, I think, a slight advantage, and it's something to just that whoever Ncube plays against needs to pay attention, and today it's Elliott and Lalic, just figuring out what that spin is, how it's reacting on the screen, off their paddle, and the different targets that she can hit on her overheads.
Yeah, so this is a 32 draw. Both of these teams actually had buys, so they had tough 3-setters. The round of 16, sort of interesting, and this looks like Townsend on the far side serving first. But yeah, both of these teams had really tough 3-setters. Ncube and Townsend, of course, you know, the Hall of Fame Prendergast and Zink, 6-4 in the third set, but Elliott and Lalic also had a really tight 3-setter. So I don't think physicality or, you know, the the day is going to get to them. They're going to play the finals tomorrow, so this is sort of for these two teams, a 3-match day, which they're all, fully athletically, prepared for. So, yeah, I'm looking for both teams to sort of, start quick and look to get into the match, and one of them hopefully is going to be able to, put their fingerprint on the other pretty quickly.
And I do think that, given a warm day, I love how Elliott and Lalic just stayed back on that. Probably anticipating the drive response. And on a warm day, you might as well just let that ball go through. Steve, did you see an overhead go run up the side screen to the third post at Short Hills ever?
No, it was.
No.
I think we talked in our pregame, Denise, that there were a couple matches I called that with the feels like temperature was -17. The umpires were not in the chairs. Sometimes the new balls were coming out of the hut. And they changed every 7 games as the tournament got deep. But the balls were freezing cold. And one of the things we talked about in Short Hills was not just the cold ball and drop shots were an advantage, but they couldn't compress the ball. So you couldn't really generate spin to move it, from screen to screen or from back to side screen. It was very difficult to generate spin. So this is going to feel, completely wide open. It's sort of a nice sunny day. What would we say? Mid-40s.
Mid-40s.
Yeah.
Very little wind. You have Lisa Lalic serving. Ncube just returned. I mean, one thing that is definitely harder in the warm temperatures, Steve, as you know, is volleying a big drive, especially when it's coming right at you. We've already seen a number of missed volleys long just because it's just a harder ball to control. There's so much energy in that ball that's popping off your paddle. And given just last week, again, the extreme temperature shift requires just a complete adjustment positioning-wise, the fundamentals, executing different shots. All right, so we're here, Elliott and Lalic up 2-0. Ncube is serving to Macy Elliott. And there you go. It's again, the big return by Elliott, and Townsend just having trouble really keeping control of those volleys.
Yeah, this is the sort of the superpower of Elliott and Lalic is really big ground strokes. It's tough to say there's one superpower with this team, but they hit a really big ball. So this is, I think, what you're seeing, Denise, is they're going to swing away. They swing away anyway. But those balls, there's going to be tougher balls to control, keep in the court. But when you're the volleyer, especially if you haven't played this pace yet in a day like today, it may take a little bit for them to sort of figure out how to deaden that paddle and sort of let that ball, just come off and stay in the court. They've had a little bit of difficulty so far.
Yeah, and I would say an uncharacteristic amount of long balls from both teams already.
Yeah.
That's for sure just adjusting your game to the temperatures. I mean, if it's 42 degrees, Steve, with the sun, I mean, the sun always adds at least 10 degrees, 15 degrees to the ball. So the ball is playing incredibly warm. That's a great little dipper roller by Elliott on her return. You're expecting the big one. And then the top spin, just softer ball comes through.
Game Elliott Lalic. Elliott Lalic lead 3-0 in the first set.
All right, a quick read from one of our sponsors, Mercy Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, providing care worthy of the pros. From same-day or next-day appointments, after-hours care, and Saturday sports clinics, we have you covered with the expert care you need when you need it. To learn more, visit mercy.com/Cincinnati-orthopedics.
I love how many sponsors this Midwesterns tournament always has. It's just a testament to the paddle community and the support they have.
All right, there's a big backhand. That's I think getting into the match, and sometimes it's nerves, sometimes it's just sort of getting the feel of the speed. They have to give back that same level of energy, and sometimes in this type of temperature, it is first strike tennis, like when it rains, right? The first person who gets to play offensively wins the point because of, a slick court. I think Ncube and Townsend have to sort of use their, yep, that stayed in, use their, tennis racket skills and, look to swing away a little bit more here. Especially with that Macy Elliott, that push serve. Sometimes she goes big, sometimes she likes to sort of just lay it in, so
wow,
nice
great
hands.
get by Ncube. I mean, it was above the pressure move by Lalic, but Ncube came up with a phenomenal shot there. Elliott staying just so low on those drives.
15-40.
Elliott serving to Ncube. We're going 2 back. I mean, with the amount of pressure drives, Steve, that both Elliott and Lalic bring on a warm day, I would stay back too and just keep bringing all your offense.
Yeah, for them, that's a place they're comfortable and they have their weapons. Yeah, so there's no need to sort of force positioning or, look to get to net the first chance you get. So a pretty important game here for Townsend and Ncube to get on the board.
Yeah, easier said than done, but I'd love to see Ncube and Townsend just stretch out some of these points. We've gone through 3 very fast games here. And I like how this point is developing. Such a great, again, mixing up the pace of those drives. Coming off of both Lalic and Elliott's paddles, just you can receive a laser beam or it's an off-pace, just like roller with heavy topspin that is just dipping hard down at your feet. And the setup is the exact same, Steve, so you can't tell what's coming until it's coming, and then you're a little late to the party if it's a really soft one.
So you saw there, and I've picked it up. Yeah, it's a great ball. I've picked up, there's really good communication by Ncube and Townsend, but there's also a little bit of miscommunication or comfort in who's taking that one down the middle. And this is sometimes the lefty-righty challenge. When you have 2 forehand overheads in the middle, you have to sort of be clear. Either we're going to attack the deuce, and the lefty's going to take it. We're going to attack the ad, the righty's going to take it. There's a little bit of indecision, and I think it's created some tentative volleying and some, not as purposeful positioning on some of the overheads as you would want. And that one, Ncube just got a little bit out of position. Lalic, made her pay.
Yeah, Lalic's backhand down the line is deadly. If she sees an opening, she's taking it. And that's going to be a tough one to... Typically that ball gets through. That is the ball out of all of, I would say almost all the players I see that gets through, they have to run it down. Or it's just an outright miss.
Yeah, and off the screen it's even sometimes better, which is a scary thing to say, but Lalic has one of the best. There's another one off screen. Just has incredible timing.
Nice digs by Ncube over there on the deuce side. It's hard to control block. It's harder to control block lobs in these temperatures.
Yep.
It's almost like to see her let that go of that screen and see what happens. All right, so Steve, 4 quick games for Elliott and Lalic, up 4-0 in the first set here at Midwesterns Grand Prix. The last tournament of the season, Steve, before Nationals.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love some of the dynamics on the women's side of the tour this year. I talked a little bit earlier about O'Sullivan and Saric. We had this great result in Short Hills, right? Matea and Jade, Mihalovic and Curtis win, and a couple great wins. They beat Lalic and Elliott, and then followed it up against Hallbauer and Zabori. So it feels like the women's side has a lot more interesting potential outcomes. Of course, Lopez and Page are going to compete every week. They're going to compete here. But yeah, this tournament's setting up for some interesting pre-nationals sort of matchups. And yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, great setup. I think she just missed it a little bit long, but this is where you have to be so intentional with your positioning of volleys, and a little bit of hesitation or a little bit of sort of tentativeness in sort of direction or pace. I think Lalic and Elliott are just going to tee off on those balls, so it almost puts more pressure on Ncube and Townsend to be very, yeah, that's a nice pace. It's nice depth there by Cammie Townsend. There's just not a lot of places to hide.
No.
That's a nick there.
I love the communication by Elliott and Lalic, even Elliott identifying her lob short just so her partner can get ready. It's so important. Both of you are on the same page. It's a great lob. Well, that was a really solid point by Townsend and Ncube. Super solid.
Yeah, the last two, and I like that they're slowing it down and talking. The last 2 games have been good competitive points throughout the games. They're playing, yeah, a little more confidently. So yeah, let's see. This is a huge point here.
Townsend's serve is very good. I like that it has a little kick to it, and it's consistently deep. It's a great ball.
30-40.
All right, Townsend serving to Lalic.
Too good.
That backhand's just on fire.
Corient is the official well sponsor of the APTA's 2025-26 season. Corient is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. You can learn more at corient.com.
Okay, the court director stats, thank you so much for putting those up. I mean, points won 75% to 25%. Not a surprise when it's a lopsided score of 5-0 in the first set. There's going to be the disparity of percentages are going to be highly in favor of Elliott Lalic. I like that little little carve to the middle. It's a solid point. I liked how Ncube closed on the net there when Lalic started coming forward. I don't know if that's what caused Lalic to stop, but normally she's just a locomotive. She keeps coming forward. It's very brave. You wouldn't see me doing that, Steve. I'd be like, and I'm out.
It's the right play, but it's incredibly brave, and that one just stayed in. Yeah. That's really nice depth there by Townsend. And I think, the deeper they get into the points, they're going to have opportunities. they just need to find a way to convert, right? When they get 10, 20, maybe 30 shots into a rally, they need to find a way to win the point. And of course, I think that just missed. So, yeah, this is, you don't want to get demoralized by competing very well. And I think the last couple games have competed much better. But at some point, you just have to figure out how to convert against one of the best teams on the tour. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, Lalic and Elliott talking a little bit here. So they're, we spoke a little bit, Denise, in the green room before we came on air. It feels like the Midwesterns, as this sort of, preliminary event into the Nationals in a couple weeks, is really important for people and teams to sort of lock in, get comfortable, sort of work on a couple things, iron all the sort of wrinkles in their game. So yeah, I like that they're talking. They're up 5-0, but it feels like it's just a big event, right, for a team like Lalic and Elliott.
Yes. They're just dialing everything in. It almost becomes, at some point it becomes less about playing this team that's across the net from you and them really trying to dial in a certain strategy or a pattern play they're trying to execute, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Game set. Elliott Lalic. Elliott Lalic lead 1-0.
Okay, we will be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming by CSM Media and Streambach Labs, which match statistics provided by Court Director.
A lot of founders start out with an idea, maybe in a garage, in a shared workspace, and really being a co-pilot along that whole journey from ideation to execution to maybe monetization one day is really the role we've decided to take in the marketplace. So I feel like we have really found a part of the market and offering that just really hasn't existed. It's this coaching, it's therapy, it's co-piloting on a journey that is unique.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Denise Murphy here with Steve Sullivan at Hyde Park Golf and Country Club with this women's quarterfinal match between our number 2 seed, Macy Elliott and Lisa Lalic, versus number 8 seed, Michelle Ncube and Cammie Townsend. Steve, welcome back. We're already into the second set here. That first set went pretty quick. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is Michelle Ncube serving here, the lefty. It's obvious from the scoreboard. You could say it's a bit of one-way traffic. I'd say Elliott and Lalic are sort of playing flawlessly. They're playing consistent. They're not really making a lot of unforced errors. And when they get the opportunity, they're hitting really big from the baseline. I think that's the thing we saw in the first set. It's been difficult for Ncube and Townsend to control their volleys. They've made some volley errors. And the ones they're making, they look a little bit tentative. And right there, we talked about Lalic loving it off the screen. It becomes so precise where, you hit it low, and they've hit some really nice low volleys. You hit it deep, and you're in it. But the second you get a little bit tentative, you get the ground stroke and the big weapons from Elliott and Lalic. That's just a huge forehand return, and that's just really difficult, right? They're our number 2 seed for a reason, one of the top teams on the tour. So, yeah, this is going to be difficult for them. Yeah, huge forehand by Lisa Lalic.
I mean, Steve, I would like to see them the next time, if when Townsend goes to serve, is just go 2 back. I mean, I feel like between the ginormous returns they're fielding from Elliott Lalic and the tough time they're having controlling their volleys and keeping them in, or perhaps overhitting overheads and feeling the heat from a screen coming from Lalic or Elliott. I think they're better off going two back and trying to grind it out from the baseline.
And at some point, it is also about just thinking about plan B or an alternate tactic that could sort of disrupt or make the other team think a little bit differently. You have to be able to do something different. And that's, I think your point, Denise, is, at some point, 6 love, 1 love, it's not working. Obviously, it's one of the best teams in the tour, but try something different. And I think that's one of the things that can sort of disrupt returns. Sometimes are a little more difficult when you don't have the target at the net. So, yeah, you can see here, that's a really nice backhand return. But you just have the presence of Lisa Lalic that becomes, really difficult to hit around.
I mean, her wingspan, I'm going to say it's greater than a bald eagle. I might be going out on a limb here. I'm just going to say it.
40 love.
All right, Elliott is serving 40 love to Townsend.
Game Elliott Lalic. Elliott Lalic leads 2 games to 0 in the second set.
All right, Steve, a little bit about our players here. Macy Elliott, who's in the forecourt on the deuce side from Wilton, Connecticut. She's director of rackets at Rolling Hills Country Club in Wilton, Connecticut. Her partner, Lisa Lalic, next to her, we can't see her on the ad side. It's paddle professional at Axis Hunt Club in Gladstone, New Jersey, and tennis pro at Maidstone Club in East Hampton, New York. In the far court serving right now is Cammie Townsend. She is assistant tennis and paddle pro at Overbrook Golf Club in Villanova, Pennsylvania. And her partner, Michelle Newby, at the net, is rackets professional at Essex Fells Country Club in Essex Fells, New Jersey. And she is from Essex Fells. So there's a lot of, and Townsend is from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. So it's kind of cool. All 4 of these women by profession are teaching the sport they love and play passionately. So kind of cool. That's not always the case.
And it's so nice, we get, to enjoy also with, the streaming by the APTA, these events and these players on weekends, but it's also a great testament of, these clubs really support their pros. And
yes.
The reminder for all of us is this is a Saturday at a country club in a place where there's probably a lot of members looking for programming, looking for, looking for, options for lessons. And of course, these clubs have big staffs and there's assistants and all those sorts of things. But yeah, it's also a commitment as far as supporting the growth of the game that these clubs, allow these pros to sort of travel to different cities and play and also showcase themselves and their clubs. So yeah, nice to see.
Absolutely. Wow, that was a very high lob.
And that's sun. You can
How
see
long
the
was
sunglasses.
Nube staring up at?
Yeah, you
That
can
was
see the
unbelievable.
sunglasses. That's the sun right in her face as well.
Yep.
Advantage Elliott Lalic. Game Elliott Lalic. Elliott Lalic leads 3 games to 0 in the second set.
For nearly 3 decades, Viking has been the premier name in platform tennis. Viking's mission is simple: produce high-quality, innovative products to enable players at all levels to achieve their best results. Visit www.vikingathletics.com to learn more about our brand and be sure to stay tuned for a new lineup of releases coming in the summer of 2026.
All right, some more court director stats up on break points converted by Elliott Lalic, 100%. Service games won, 100%. Service points won, 77%. Again, it's kind of an easy read when it's Elliott Lalic are up 6-0, 3-0. but it's just a testament to how solid they are playing. You know, a good team has a great team, I will say. Steve has a way of applying pressure and making the opponents feel like they need to hit a bigger, better shot, or perhaps you want to play out of your comfort zone in order to beat a certain team. And right now, I feel like there are shots being hit, or perhaps angles or overheads being hit that they don't need to be too good. Like, I guarantee you Townsend is not normally missing that shot on an average day against an average opponent. But when you feel that pressure, that if you don't hit a great shot, that you're going to be feeling it. You're going to be eating that at the baseline. It's tough. It's a lot of pressure.
Really, really nice hands there by Lisa Lalic. I agree. There's no safe spaces normally, but you know, there's just been a couple of those shots, and you know, whether it's the wingspan of a bald eagle, Denise, or bigger, it's just presence, right? And you know, that's just so soft. The hands of Lisa Lalic there, just putting that forehand volley confidently and at the right pace in the corner. So when they get their racket on, I think Ncube and Townsend are just finding themselves probably overthinking, but it's the pressure, right? It's sort of the, you know, I can't hit there. I can't hit where I normally hit. I need to find a space, and there's just not a lot of spaces. So you know, sometimes you get a little bit psyched out, and I think that's part of what's happening today is, you know, you have to start the match, and if you're going to compete, it's got to be very quickly, you know, and clearly, you know, some back and forth competitive sort of games and points and sets, and right now they're just not able to find that secret sauce to convert that point that they're getting into. They're just not finding a way to win it.
Yeah. I would really love to see just what would happen if they went 2 back here. Or when Aussie, perhaps, and server stay back, just to give Elliott and Lalic a different look.
You miss every single shot.
15 all.
Steve, a shout out to our awesome tournament directors here at the Midwesterns Grand Prix. Ron Borgatti, Chris McKiernan, Jim Gecke, and Eric West. Thank you so much for all the time and energy and effort that you put into putting on this fantastic tournament. We were speaking earlier about, you know, different clubs having to, you know, basically give up their pros, right, Steve, to travel to tournaments. But on the flip side of that, these tournaments, there are many clubs that give up their courts for the entire weekend to support the APTA and the work of our awesome 4 tournament directors. So thank you to our directors, all the volunteers for putting on this great event, and for all the clubs that give up their courts to allow these tournaments to happen.
Yeah, I think there's a list of a little bit more than 10 clubs this weekend, if I'm reading this right. So Camargo, Cincinnati Country Club, Cincinnati Sports Club, Coldstream Country Club, Four Bridges Country Club, Glendale Lyceum, Hyde Park, which is here, Kenwood, Makatewa, Terrace Park, and Wyoming Golf Club. So yeah, this is a unique thing about the paddle community and about these events. You know, some clubs have 2 courts, some clubs have 4 courts, some of the bigger clubs have even more. But it really can't be done by one club alone. And a lot of times we showcase and stream from the host club. But yeah, we may have 75% of the play over the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday playing at some of these other supporting facilities. So yeah, huge thanks to not just those tournament directors, but all the clubs who are donating courts and hut commanders and, you know, all those sorts of things that make it happen.
100%. Just watching, Steve, like Elliott setting up for the barrage of drives. It's awesome. Take by Lalic. She is just setting up and getting so low. For all the listeners out there, like when you're watching, see how when you watch either Elliott or Lalic execute a drive, if they're balanced or not. They have a solid foundation. They are locked in, and their momentum. I mean, it's just, look at that stance. The feet are moving forward. They're applying pressure, and they are balanced, hitting every single drive. It looks so good.
Lead 4 games to 1 in the second.
And as I said that, they just happened to miss a drive for the game. But other than that, it looked great.
Look great. All right, with its world headquarters right here in downtown Cincinnati, Roto-Rooter has been a dedicated sponsor of the Midwesterns tournament for the past 12 years. Roto-Rooter is North America's largest provider of residential and commercial plumbing and water cleanup services. Special thanks to APTA member and Roto-Rooter president Robert Goldschmidt and his team for their loyal support.
Awesome, thank you. All right, reminder, registration closes today for Junior Nationals, which is February 28th in Summit, New Jersey. Also closing, registration is closing tonight, the APTA Men and Women's National Championships, March 6th, 7th, and 8th, which is also in Summit, New Jersey. So please register if you're interested in either one of those events. Registration is still open for the APTA Men and Women's Masters Nationals, featuring draws for men and women in age brackets 50 plus, 60 plus, 70 plus. And that again is March 6th, 7th in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. Team Nationals, the men is March 28th to 29th in New Jersey. And the Team Nationals for women is April 11th and 12th in Chicago. Last but certainly not least is the married mixed and mixed nationals, April 18th and 19th in Chicago. So go to the APTA website and register ASAP if you're interested in participating in any of those amazing events.
30, 15.
That's right there. Yeah,
Townsend is just getting frustrated. I feel it. I think it's a combination of a lot of factors. She's probably looking at this saying, I normally don't miss these shots. What is going on? We've all been there, Steve, right?
Well, we've all been there in that pace, that sort of soft placement, heavy roller from Lalic, when I think, Townsend's sort of stabilizing her feet because she could get one ripped at her, and then it comes really low, really, difficult to sort of control with the topspin. So yeah, it's a frustrating, but that's just the optionality that someone like Lisa Lalic has from the ground. You think we talk about her big shots, but her, soft placement, is just as deadly.
100%. Just missed it. There's a lot of space to hit too, and she decided to pick a teeny little sliver. But given that's probably her only second miss of the whole match, Steve, I think she's okay with that. That was a great pressure return by Townsend. Way to step in and take time away. Interesting, Lalic and Elliott are on opposite sides, which it's not bothersome to either one because they're comfortable and confident on both the add and do sides. But you can hear them at first. Elliott was like, stay there, like,
yep,
as if we're good, we're good. Love the open communication. Nice. I love the variety of overheads right here by Townsend and Ncube. Great D from both teams. It's just a big dipping ball. So, I mean, the reaction is to open your paddle face, Steve, to let that ball, so ensures it goes over the net. And then in these temperatures, it's going to fly. It's just a really hard ball to navigate.
It's actually a great point. Yeah, there's a great point. It's just that one, there's another one, tough to control. It's just that one volley that's not low enough, not deep enough, and gives, in that case, Macy Elliott the chance to sort of hit that big, heavy, ripping forehand. So, yeah, nowhere to hide. So, 1-5, Townsend serving.
Again, Townsend and Ncube off sides here at the baseline. Let's see if they're in a rush to get back or if they're just comfortable staying on their different sides. that they started on. I honestly like Nube's backhand in the middle right there, to be honest. Oh, it's such a good low ball. So hard to block a low ball. Always easier to lean in and block one over your shoulder, Steve, but when you've got one that's coming in around your knees that you don't think it's going to the screen, that's a toughie.
And there's so little time to make that choice. That's why that, big swinging acronym volley that we talk about so much is such a unique sort of play in this sport, because the first challenge in a split second is how do I get out of the way of it? And then how do I sort of figure out how to play it off the screen and maybe like run back to then sprint forward. So yeah, that low ball, you just naturally want to put your paddle there, which is maybe the thing you shouldn't do. It's just a tough, tough ball.
The point before, Ncube had a really great blitz there. I like the pressure. Got such good lobs. I mean, even the lobs. Notice like both of Nube's feet are beyond the service line, which opens up offensive opportunities. That's a great point by Townsend and Ncube. They played really smart. Ncube kept her overheads low and deeper, which limited the amount of offense. Another great lob by Elliott, just tracking Nube's feet. Townsend's always both feet behind the service line. When you consistently do that, it will organically bring more offensive looks to the baseline team, bottom line.
Way to stay home there by Michelle Ncube.
So good. That was a really well-played point by all four players.
Really good point.
All right, we've got match point here, Steve. Townsend serving to Lalic.
Let's see if Townsend can just relax and hit a good serve. She's been serving well. That's a pretty natural serve, and you can hear it. You can hear the spin off her paddle.
That was a clutch serve right there.
Yeah.
I have to say, that was clutch. I mean,
typically you're going to want to go wide when you relax and just sort of swing away and brush to the outside. She went right down the tee, which is, a lot harder than most people appreciate.
She walked in the fire there, and that was pretty awesome.
Great lob.
Yeah. All right, another match point for Elliott and Lalic. Townsend serving to Lalic. You hate to see a match end on a fault, but all right. Thank you, Steve. Let's go over these court director stats here. Tell me your thoughts on what you're seeing.
6-0-4-0, and I think, give credit to Ncube and Townsend. They kept sort of fighting. They played a good few games. They got on the board. They maybe should have gotten that game to get to 5-2, and they sort of reduced the point differential a little bit. So, this is a really tough task. You're playing the number 2 seed. I think tough day at the office for Ncube and Townsend, but we're looking at the semifinals for Elliott and Lalic, and a lot more great paddle to come. The top 8 seeds made the quarters. We might see a Paige-Lopez matchup for Elliott and Lalic in the semis, and of course the top of the draw is all sorts of interesting matchups. So thanks Denise for great call.
Yeah, they're really, really fun. I think at the end of the day, Elliott and Lalic, they just apply pressure in so many different ways, Steve. And they were, like you mentioned earlier, kind of flawless for the first, I don't even know how many games. I would say 8, 9 games, which is tough to come back from. So congratulations to Elliott Lalic. We wish Ncube and Townsend the best of luck in the backdrop. But that is a wrap from this women's quarterfinal round. Stay with us for our next match, which is the men's quarterfinals, scheduled to begin at 2:30. Steve, it was a pleasure.
Thanks.
We don't have time to get into all the reasons you may need urgent care. There's coughing, wheezing, itchy rashes, unpleasant infections, twists and rolls, cold and flu, tummies too. But at Mercy Health Urgent Care, we always have the time to give you exceptional, convenient care, because here you can get in and out in about an hour. Mercy Health Urgent Care, exceptional care made for you.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
The business owners that I'm working with have entrusted Corient in this work because we're really focused on supporting them in their important endeavors. They're functioning every day in their zone of genius, and their expectation of us is we're doing the same. My name is Anna Diaz. I'm a partner and wealth advisor at Corient. When we think about the work we're doing for our clients, we think about first financial, absolutely. It is not uncommon that our very successful business owners and clients are making disjointed decisions. Our job is to provide a proactive strategy so the filter in which they make these decisions is informed. Second is the emotional load. Our clients often are asking themselves, what am I missing? Our job is to remove that mental load so they feel that their strategy is optimized, is simplified, and is executed cleanly. And the third is generational. Absolutely, there is technical design that goes into that, but it is also the thoughtful impact they want to have with what they've created.